What do scientists do when they come across an ancient find that makes zero sense? Usually they build a theory. Even if they don't have all the answers, they'll suggest a few ideas, throw some educated guesses into the mix. But every so often, even the experts come up completely blank. And it's in those moments when science shrugs that the mystery gets truly gripping. Here are 15 of the most mysterious archaeological artifacts that still leave scientists baffled. Number 15. Eternal lamps in ancient tombs. There are written accounts, plenty of them, from travelers, monks, and early historians who opened sealed tombs only to find something burning inside. Lamps are supposedly still lit after hundreds or even thousands of years. The stories come from Italy, Egypt, and even parts of India. One of the better-known cases was reported in Rome in the 1400s, where a lantern was said to still glow inside a long-forgotten chamber. Some dismissed these as myths. Others tried to replicate them. The idea of a flame that needs no fuel, flickering in darkness without air, doesn't make sense in modern physics. Yet the legends keep turning up. Inscriptions on temples reference lights that never die. Then there's the denture relief from Egypt, an image carved in stone that some believe resembles a modern light bulb. Maybe ancient people didn't invent electricity, but they were fascinated by light. Enough to bury it with their dead, enough to make it sacred. If this lamp connection is true, it would predate Edison's 1879 electric light bulb. Number 14. Cursed tablets from Athenian wells. In 2020, more than 30 small lead sheets were pulled from the bottom of an ancient Athenian well. Each was hand-etched with curses, names, offenses, and calls to underworld gods asking for retribution. These weren't grand declarations or poetry. The writing is clumsy. The words urgent, scratched into metal with just enough force to be permanent. They're personal, angry. Some direct the gods to paralyze, silence, or ruin rivals. Most don't say why. There's no legal structure here, just desperation and belief. The location of the well wasn't accidental. It wasn't just a hidden place. It was believed to be a passageway closer to the underworld. Throwing a curse into it was like mailing it to another realm. The names on the tablets may never be traced. The reasons behind the anger have faded. What remains is the rawness. Ancient people whispered to unseen forces, hoping that justice or revenge would flow up from below. Number 13. Owl pipes of Mound City. In Ohio's ancient burial grounds, where ceremonial mounds mark the lives and deaths of a culture long gone, something quietly strange emerged: pipes. Not just any kind, but sculpted smoking tools shaped like owls. Carved with precision from flint clay and catlinite, these objects came from far beyond where they were buried. Some were made in Illinois. Others carried stones from Michigan. The distance alone suggests trade or pilgrimage. The form suggests something more personal. The owls, facing toward the user rather than away, were likely meant for ritual use. Shamans, maybe, with animals they considered spirit companions. Other pipes shaped like toads and raccoons were found too, but the owls stand apart, piercing, deliberate, symbolic. Their function is gone, lost with the people who knew how to use them. But the detail remains, so does the intention. Even now, it's hard to look at one without feeling that it means something important, something not spoken. Just smoked, held close, and let go into the air. Number 12. Riace bronzes. Well now, this one is pretty amazing. Two bronze warriors emerged from the sea in 1972, discovered by a diver off the coast of Calabria. Over 2,000 years old and perfectly preserved. Muscles defined, stances defiant, expressions locked in something between calm and warning. No names, no clues. They don't resemble any known gods or figures from Greek mythology, yet the craftsmanship suggests they mattered deeply to someone. Historians still argue whether they were made as a pair or ended up together by chance. Theories run dry fast: lost cargo, storm-tossed statues, maybe even offerings to the sea. The location only deepens the confusion: found in Italy, made in Greece, and likely abandoned somewhere in between. Some believe they were meant to be heroic, others divine. But all agree on one thing: no statues should have survived this long with this much detail. Whoever they were, wherever they came from, they now stand for every mystery the ancient world has managed to hold on to. Number 11. Paddle Doll of Thebes. Unearthed in Thebes nearly a century ago, this figure doesn't resemble the usual artifacts found in tombs. It isn't detailed. It isn't lifelike. A flat wooden board, shaped loosely into the form of a torso, adorned with long strands of beads that fall like hair. There's no head, no feet. It's been called a doll, though it likely wasn't meant for play. The age dates it to Egypt's Middle Kingdom, around 4,000 years ago. Some suggest it was used in ritual dances, shaken to create rhythm, with the beads rattling like percussion. Others think it served a symbolic purpose, tied to fertility or funerary rites. There are no records explaining its use, and no instructions besides the grave where it was found. Just this strange, stylized form placed carefully among the dead. The simplicity of the shape contrasts with the intention behind its burial. Whether it was sacred or ceremonial, it mattered enough to follow someone into eternity. That meaning still hasn't surfaced. Number 10. Jade-inlaid skull with stone denture. Found near Teotihuacan in 2016, the skull didn't look quite right. The shape was elongated, not from genetics but through years of careful, intentional binding during childhood, a practice found in the Andes but rare in Mexico. The woman it belonged to wasn't an ordinary figure. Her teeth had been inlaid with jade. Her burial site held ceremonial jars, and in place of a missing tooth, a green serpentine stone had been set, carved to fit, not for beauty but as a functional replacement. A 1600-year-old denture. No one knows if it worked. No one knows how long she lived with it. But it wasn't ornamental, it was worn, used. This wasn't just wealth, it was adaptation. The idea of bodily modification as status, as identity, was clearly present here. So was medical improvisation. And yet no written records explain how this woman lived or why her culture altered her so carefully. Well guys, her story is bone, stone, and the choices left behind. Number 9. Rongorongo tablets. It's scattered across Easter Island are wooden tablets marked with an intricate looping script no one has ever translated. The characters are tiny. Some resemble humans. Others are shaped like animals or plants. Every symbol seems intentional, too precise to be random, too ordered to be decoration. Scholars named it Rongorongo. It may be one of the few independent inventions of writing in human history, but the key is lost. The people who could read it are gone. The last generation who might have remembered died before the 20th century began, and no bilingual reference exists. The most frustrating part, the writing isn't ancient. The oldest tablets date to the 1600s. That should make it easier, but every attempt at decoding the glyphs has failed. Some believe the symbols were copied blindly over time, long after the meaning had faded. Others think they never represented language at all. Still, the carvings repeat like memory etched into wood. Language is fossilized, but unreadable. Entire stories are trapped behind symbols no one can hear. Number 8. Orkney quern stone. A weathered slab of stone, little more than a grinding surface, shifted the story of early settlement in Scotland's Orkney Islands. Found by accident in a field near St. Ola, this quern stone wasn't discovered alone. Broken ceramics, stone tools, and flint arrowheads surrounded it. These weren't signs of passing travelers. They were signs of a home. Before this find, the oldest known site on Orkney was Skara Brae. This simple tool pushed that timeline back by nearly 500 years. The quern itself is unremarkable to the eye, a shallow depression smoothed by use. But in context, it becomes something more. A marker of people staying in one place, processing grain, building lives in a wind-bitten land where permanence wasn't expected. There was no monumental architecture, no grand burial, just use, repetition, routine. And through that, a glimpse of a community quietly reshaping what we thought we knew about where and how human settlement began in that part of the world. Well, it is pretty fascinating to think about. Number 7. Lost Wax Amulet of Mehrgarh. In the dry heat of Mehrgarh, archaeologists unearthed a copper amulet, barely the size of a coin, simple in shape. But under a microscope, its complexity revealed itself. This wasn't hammered or cast in molds. It had been made using lost wax casting, an advanced metallurgical technique that involves sculpting in wax, encasing it in clay, and heating it until the wax drains out and molten metal fills the void. The process requires precision and high temperatures, far beyond what most cultures were thought to have achieved 6,000 years ago. No furnaces have been found nearby, no workshops. Just this one small object, made with quiet mastery, buried in a region that predates nearly every known civilization in South Asia. It doesn't look ceremonial. It doesn't scream royalty. It was worn and used, but its creation demands knowledge, practice, and intent. Long before writing reached this land, someone had already mastered a language of fire, form, and molten transformation. And all that remains is a pendant, cool and quiet. Number 6. Tungsten stone discs. In the mountains near Volgograd, several massive stone discs were pulled from the earth during a 2015 excavation. At first glance, they looked like ordinary rock formations, but the more closely they were studied, the more they complicated themselves. Each disc was shaped with uncanny precision, circular, dense, and clearly formed through more than just erosion. What truly unsettled researchers was their composition. Testing revealed high levels of tungsten, a metal known for its strength and density, but rare in natural deposits and extremely difficult to work with, even today. There's no sign of modern manufacturing nearby, no evidence of mining or refining in the surrounding area. UFO enthusiasts immediately took notice, declaring them crashed saucers. Archaeologists stayed quieter. Theories include ancient tools, signal markers, or storage weights. But none explain the design or the metal. Whatever they were, these objects weren't shaped by chance. And yet their purpose and their maker remains unidentified, just like the mountain silence they came out of. Alright guys, now, let's move to Number 5. The Warrior of Hirschlanden. Found buried in a low mound near Ditzingen, this Iron Age statue stood alone, missing its feet, but still upright after more than 2,600 years. Carved from sandstone, it depicts a male figure, nude and stoic, with an unmistakable helmet and a twisted neck ring, a torque common to the Hallstatt culture. The sculpture doesn't exaggerate power. It's not heroic in scale, yet there's something unshakable in the stance, and something deliberate in what's shown and what's not. The dagger on the waist and the narrow belt speak of status but not dominance. Weathered features make the face hard to read but not impersonal. The statue had stood long before it was buried, the erosion proving its exposure. So why entomb it later? Why remove it from view after letting it stand? There's no inscription, no offerings, just this singular figure, worn by wind, set into the earth. Whatever it once watched over, it now guards nothing but silence and scattered theories. Number 4. Artognou stone. In 1998, buried deep within the ruins of Tintagel Castle, a broken stone slab came to light. On its surface, scratched in Latin, were the words Artognou, descendant of Patern Colus, made this. The style was unpolished. The carving is uneven. It wasn't part of a monument. It had been reused, flipped over and built into a drain centuries after it was written. And yet the inscription rippled far beyond archaeology. Tintagel is steeped in Arthurian legend. The name Artognou was close enough to Arthur to ignite the imagination. Scholars pushed back, rightly. The dating placed it in the 6th century, but no part of the message connected it directly to legend. Still, the stone mattered. Not because it confirmed myth, but because it offered a rare, grounded voice from post-Roman Britain. A name, a hand, A personal statement, however small, carved into stone and forgotten, then pulled back into light. It didn't say much, but it proved that someone wanted to be remembered, even in passing. Number 3. The Copper Bull of Ur. In the dust of ancient Mesopotamia, near the ruins of Ur, a copper sculpture of a bull emerged in 1923. It wasn't discovered in a vault or palace, but crushed beneath the remains of a collapsed temple wall. The statue, now partially reconstructed, once stood with wooden limbs and horns, those organic parts long since rotted away, replaced with wax and care in modern restoration. Measuring less than a meter tall, it wasn't monumental in size, but in symbolism. The bull had been sacred across Sumerian belief systems: strength, fertility, divine favor. Sir Leonard Woolley, who uncovered it, gave it a plain name: the Copper Bull, yet the object itself resisted simplicity. Hand-hammered plates, eyes inlaid with shell, delicate ridges along the body, every piece suggests reverence, not decoration. The fact that other bulls were found nearby, but fragmented, makes this near-whole example even more remarkable. It wasn't hidden to be protected, it was just buried by circumstance, and time took care of the rest. Number 2. The Ife bronze head. When a farmer unearthed a copper alloy head in 1938 in Ife, Nigeria, it didn't resemble the Africa the world thought it knew. The sculpture was elegant, realistic, and symmetrical. The facial features were soft, detailed, and expressive, crafted with such mastery that European historians initially assumed foreign influence. They were wrong. The head belonged to the Yoruba tradition, made between the 12th and 15th centuries, cast using lost wax techniques refined long before outside contact. The subject, possibly a ruler, is crowned but unexaggerated. Calm with lines etched across the cheeks, a symbol of status and lineage. This wasn't iconography, it was identity, frozen in metal. Other heads were found nearby, but none carried quite the same precision. The piece has since become a symbol of cultural misrecognition. Once doubted, now studied. Once dismissed, now protected. It wasn't made to shock future archaeologists. It was made to last, and it has, even when its creators' names have vanished. What endures is presence, unbroken and exact. What do you think about it? Number 1. Holmegaard bows. In the ancient peat bogs of northern Europe, long before iron tools or metal weapons, people left behind something unexpected: bows. Not fragments, not suggestions, but entire wooden weapons preserved by the bog's unique chemistry. The Holmegaard bows, named after the site where they were first found, are over 7,000 years old. They aren't crude. Each is carefully carved, with a flattened belly and convex back, an engineering choice still used in modern archery. Made from elm, these weren't toys or guesses. They were deadly tools, light, balanced, and functional. No arrows survived beside them, but the design alone suggests real accuracy. Later cultures changed materials but rarely improved the form. That raises a quiet question, not about who made them, but about how far back real craftsmanship goes. These weren't trial runs. They weren't experimental, they were dependable. And for a people without cities, without writing, without metal, they were enough to protect, to feed, and to keep moving through a world that never gave anything easily. If you've enjoyed this video, be sure to like, share, and subscribe for more content like this. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.